in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do it first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man of steel, but I made it still. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step onto the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop.
I'm fired up today, man.
Cut that music on. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live.
Go do your thing, baby.
H-Town, what's cracking? You know what time it is. It's hot like fish grease today. The Chop Shop, the #1 urban sports talk show in the nation. We got my boy Robert Hatter.
Yes, sir.
Cornell's former favorite dad.
Wow.
You got Jimmy the cheat sheet Hicks. Hicks, go on, open up your shirt right now so we can just go on, because I'm going to go and put your little plug out there. Maybe he's waiting for it later. You wait for it later? I'll wait for it later. I'm yours truly, the hater. I'm on hiatus today. The day is for officially. They say it's Veterans Day. It's official Fire Jason Garrett Day. That's what today is. It's official Fire Jason Garrett Day. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
3rd and 2,
Chris.
only 11-yard line. It's official Fire Jason Garrett Day.
Chris,
I started there.
thank you so much. But we have a lot to get in today, right? But first and foremost, I like to say for all the men and women that bravely served our country and will continue to do so, we thank you for your support, because everything we do is because of what you do for us. So happy Veterans Day to y'all. And this should, should just be for one day, because anytime I see a veteran on the plane or in the airport anyway, I always thank them and, for their service and they appreciate it. But guess what? This was not a good weekend for Chris Walker. This wasn't not a good weekend for him. See, he got his head down over there, Jimmy, and I'm going to let you, the Dallas Cowboys got their head beat in. The Lakers got their head beat in. I mean,
oh my God! He had a triple-double though. He had a triple-double.
And Jimmy, it's just not a good day for him. I don't want to tease the stuff. Hey, first of all, people, before we came on this show, the reason we came on a little bit later, we had a pre-production meeting. Wait till I tell y'all later what happened in that meeting, what these two dudes were talking about. Unbelievable. Jimmy, what you got, man, today, man?
Unbelievable.
Man. I mean, first of all, we're going to rewind the NFL results from yesterday, and that way, and it's going to be, you know what? Cowboy fans, you do it to yourself. 4 losses already. The Cowboys. Who saw this happen? They're teetering 500.
Winning the division. 4-0 in the division. What are you talking about?
You're teetering 500. What's your overall record?
It don't matter what our overall record is. Let me get on the screen.
I'm going to tell you, it's 5
We're 5-4. We tied for first place right now.
So on Thursday, we had our picks, myself and Chris Walker. And we're going to show you, we're going to post up the standing as well as the results to help expedite through a lot of the NFL results. That way we can get right to the nitty and the gritty. And if you see right there, if you look on the screen, Hal is posting that up for you guys, and you see the results. as it stands, going into tonight's Monday Night Football, I hold a slim lead of, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 5. 6 to 5.
Oh, I'm looking good. So it's 2 points for the winner tonight then, right?
Wait a minute. What's your slim lead? What are you talking about?
I'm up 6 to 5 over Chris today, and we got Monday Night Football.
You've already put the winners out here already.
Yes. As you guys look that way now.
Wait a minute. We ain't checked you. We ain't fact checked you. Chris, what's wrong with you?
What do you mean? I'm a loser?
No, Chris, yes. He knows he's down 1. And luckily, focus on that.
Hold on. That Buffalo game, did I win that Buffalo game?
No, it was a 3-point spread. That's why we tied on that. And you lucky. Boy, you lucky. That's the game that bailed you out. We wouldn't even be here right now with that.
Dude, so now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm coming around, man. I was a big hater. This Lamar Jackson dude. Man, Mr. Jackson, if you're nasty.
Thank you.
That dude, my goodness. And you know what I was watching the Cowboys last night? The QBR and all that stuff, the analytics. The it factor is not there, guys. Big E, one of the loyal listeners to the Chop Shop, you know what he said?
What?
Dak got to start showing some of that black side of him and start running that football, man. I'm sorry, man. Dak got to start showing the brother in him and start running a little bit more, man. He got to do it. Lamar Jackson ain't afraid to be great. Dak is just strictly, he thinks he's Tom Brady. Run the football, man.
Hey, hold on, Chris. Slow down, Chris. Chris. The Jackson kid was ridiculed when coming out of college. He called him a running back and all of that. Dak, that's who this guy is. He's a dynamic quarterback that's able to do both. I'm talking about Jackson. That's able to do, Lamar Jackson, that's able to do those things. So you're trying to tell Dak to do something he never really done?
His first year he ran, the first year he did run.
But guess what? He's been healthy, and y'all been in the playoffs for these last few years because he's been the way he's been playing. I don't blame that on Dak.
He got to run sometime, Hatter.
No.
I don't expect Tom Brady to run.
But you know what?
Come on, man.
You're the same guy that blamed AJ Hinch. So anytime you don't win something,
no doubt.
Hey, anytime you don't win something, you got to use a blamer. So Jimmy, you want to move on to the next? That screen is up. But I just
why you got to cut me off? Why you got to cut me off, Hatter?
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you right now, he need to run, man. He needs to use them wheels that God gave him. Jesus.
Well, the thing is, understand something. Look, Jackson is just coming into the league. And a lot of times, even when Watson first came in the league as a rookie, when he got on the field, he used his legs. And as he proceeds through the NFL, and those lumps take its toll, he will start to slide. He will start to stay in the pocket a little more, and that because after a period of time, once the winds start to balance off, those wide receivers will get to complaining because they're running those routes and not getting those balls.
What about winning? Well, how's winning factor in?
Once it starts to balance off. See, right now people will deal with it. You'll take his toll. I run them routes and you running the ball as a quarterback is producing W's. But the minute that it starts to level off, and sure enough, law of averages support itself, it will average itself out over a period of time. Then he's going to make decisions and make business decisions because you got to stay healthy to get to that second contract.
Guys, I'm not telling him to be Lamar Jackson. I'm not telling him to run. But what I'm saying is the fact that he's a dual threat, you add Zeke, you add all them weapons, it makes you tougher. Did y'all not see the Alabama LSU game?
Oh, my goodness.
Those crucial plays, Burrow made runs. That's what killed Alabama.
Come on, Chris. You're talking about the Alabama game and this quarterback. You knew Tua was limited on what he can do with cuts.
No. I'm talking about Alabama's defense. I'm not talking about the offense. I'm talking about the defense. He destroyed that defense. He put 46 on Alabama.
Okay, but
when's the last time? Because of his ability to run.
Tua could not run and cut like that.
I'm not talking about Tua. I'm talking about Burrow from LSU. Okay, his ability to run helped stymie the Alabama defense.
Absolutely. You're
So
true.
that's what I'm saying about Dak. Like, Dak's not running at all, so he's a sitting target. He's got to run sometime to keep them dudes at bay.
Oh, so now your 397 yards passing yesterday don't matter a whole lot, huh?
You know what don't matter? You know what don't matter, Hatter? He got an L. He got an L. So take them yards and stuff them up your butt. He got the L. How about that?
So it's like Pat Mahomes with 400 and almost 400.
And my homie lost. And my homie lost to Ryan Tannehill. To Ryan Tannehill, who got shipped from Miami to Tennessee. Come on, man.
You see, it don't matter when them L's coming. Think about it. Those guys are already on the top at the top shelf before Lance even got into this. And think about it. An L, it starts to negate all of that stuff. That's what I'm telling you. So hey, this stuff is fun because every time Lamar Jackson picks up a win, it reminds you it's hard to not think of Michael Vick because, I mean, it really is not. He's doing stuff. Did you see that spin move on that 47-yard touchdown run? Say, man, that wasn't just a 47-yard run. That was pay dirt. This dude, he did not lose his balance. How many quarterbacks?
Put him in the spin cycle. Put him in the spin cycle at the end.
Dude, how many quarterbacks would have fell down doing that?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott can at least run for a first down, man. He can at least run for a first down, man. I'm sorry.
One piece of business before we go. Dak Prescott's night didn't end the way he would have liked, but look at the warm-up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What?
Yeah.
What do we... Have you got that move?
No, maybe I don't.
That's a
that one right there, yeah, I don't know what that is, man.
I don't either, but I feel like I would pull a lot of things if I tried it one time.
He can do it, man. He looking good.
Yeah, hey, look,
I wonder what he's listening to.
He had a great... One piece of business before we go. Dak Prescott's night didn't end the way he would have liked, but look at the warm-up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What?
Yeah.
What do we... Have you got that move?
No, maybe I don't.
That's a
that one right there, yeah, I don't know what that is, man.
I don't either, but I feel like I would pull a lot of things if I tried it one time.
He can do it, man. He looking good.
Yeah, hey, look,
I wonder what he's listening to.
He had a great...
Like he'd have been on that pole before.
Listen, man, listen. Y'all can give... And when you lose... Everything's up for negotiation. Yeah. I remember Hatter was chopping up. Jimmy was chopping up Deshaun Watson because at the end of the game he was working on what was happening at that when they lost that game, and nobody has said a word since they've been tearing everybody's head off. Everybody plays Monday morning quarterback. It's Monday, so you quarterbacks have at it.
Jimmy chopped everybody up when they lose. Don't you know that he chopped everybody? He's a bandwagon Jimmy. He already gonna tell you that.
Now the thing that's funny about the Dallas Cowboys, the thing that gets me is that you know what? They in for the ultimate setup. Guess why? Because it don't look good on paper, but next week they gotta go to Detroit.
Win.
Win.
It's a dub though. But it's a dub though.
If you lose to Detroit, that means you're gonna be 5-5. I'm sorry.
Guys. If my uncle was Miami, we're winning at Detroit. Just so you know that we're winning at Detroit. You gotta realize Staff is hurt. So please, that dude, what's his name? Driscoll. He's terrible.
Say.
We need a new coach, man. We get a new coach. They can put Hatter out there and we got a better chance.
So are you saying right now, should Dak have took that $30 million?
Oh, no question. I don't listen. Listen. I like Dak. There's no it factor. I like Dak. I don't love Dak. There's no it factor. Dallas ain't gonna no one. Listen to me, guys. He's a clean-cut dude. He does things the right way. There ain't no it factor. I'm sorry. I like him. The it factor's not there.
And of course, guys, speaking of next week, of course, just tune to the Chop Shop. We're talking NFL talk right now and recapping a lot of the games we recapped. Make sure you're just tuning in. Feel free to share the show right now with your friends and your timelines if you're watching right now on Facebook. Now, moving forward to next week. If you are, we're really considering, of course, tonight we'll be at Phil and Derrick's for Monday Night Football. And we're returning now, guys. You remember 2 seasons ago, we lit Phil and Derrick's on fire every Monday night. It was a packed house in that place. And so we're back by popular demand for this Monday night at Phil and Derek's. And this is a one-time thing, unless you guys try to make it happen and turn out and show up and show out this evening. But I'm saying for next on Sunday, I'm looking forward to Sunday because we might have a watch party on Sunday somewhere. So if you guys were thinking about it now, you want to get the host, send us some ideas, chopshophtx@gmail.com. Because guess what? Guess who plays on Sunday?
Who play on Sunday?
The Texans at Baltimore. And that would be the perfect party.
Yeah.
So you guys just stay tuned. If you
Samuel Jackson versus Denzel. Keep going.
And if you want to have a watch party, somebody want to host a watch party, and you want the Chop Shop there, then send us an email, chopshophtx@gmail.com, and we can be in the building. Because guess what? If I'm coming there to the watch party, I'm coming with bottles in both arms, especially for the females. And don't speak of the females. Yeah. We got your first drink tonight at Phil and Derek's.
That's right.
On us. Make sure you spread the word. Chop Shop 6:30 this evening, Monday Night Football, and also that's the Seahawks at the Niners.
Oh,
and also the Rockets. Undefeated Niners. Mm-hmm. The Rockets are at the Pelicans. We have both games on all of the screens on the lounge side. DJ will be in effect. We have the games allowed, happy hour specials all evening. We have $5 gourmet burgers. And it's rocking at Phil and Derek. There is no dress code, but fellas, we have a stipulation. If you come try to walk in the door with your toes sticking out on some sandals or something, you're not getting up in there with your corn sticking out. So that ain't happening tonight. And make sure you come and party with the Chop Shop. Bring a friend, guys. Yeah. Tonight, 6:30, Phil and Derek's, 1701 Webster Street in Midtown Houston. So now, Chris, when we move on, let's take tonight's pick, Monday Night Football. I'm going to let you pick.
What's the line? What's the line?
Seattle, and put it up there for him, Hannah, so he can see that way he can't even say he made a mistake. Seattle and +6.
Oh, against the where's the game?
And in San Francisco.
And Seattle's getting 6?
Getting 6. You can have 6.
It's gonna be the first win of the year. You can have. I'm taking Seattle. Come on, man, give me a break. That's a ridiculous line.
Hannah, you heard that?
I heard it.
I'm taking Seattle. They're not gonna get beat like that.
So whoever wins tonight wins.
Chris,
right?
I know it. So let me go on and just do this right now. I'm picking a college. I'm picking a college. Let me do that right now. So now, well, you see who I'm rocking with.
Wow.
I got the Niners, man.
Wow.
I'm waiting on you.
Wow. He knew me. Because you know why? He know I love Sierra. That's what it is. That's why he did that. He know me and you love Sierra. So he knew I was going to pick Seattle.
Let me take the tag off this thing. I already knew.
Jimmy, I'm against you tonight, boss.
Yeah, we tell him how we with Sierra. We didn't worry about Russell.
Y'all make sure y'all check the screen out.
This dude, you an idiot. You're an absolute idiot, dude. Unbelievable. How that fool know? Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Say, boy, hey, man.
Wow. Wow. That's messed up.
Thank you.
Y'all got me like that.
Hey, man.
Thank you, Melvin News.
Melvin Dews? Hold up, Melvin Dews did that?
Yes, he sent it to me.
Wow. Y'all something else, man.
Speaking of football, of course, we remiss not to go back and revisit the topic of the game of the weekend. LSU 46-41 at Alabama. First win in 8 years. And did you guys watch the game?
I watched it from the rooter to the tutor.
I did not. I was busy. I couldn't.
From the rooter to the tutor.
Man.
Hey, they went at Alabama's head so quick. Alabama had the turnovers. That just took the game in a different direction with the turnovers right away. Tried to come back in the second half. The defense, it was just too big of a deficit to a good team. But I'm telling you, Burrow won the game with his feet. Every crucial play they needed a first down, he ran the ball. Did he do a great job passing? Yes. But all the crucial plays were runs. That's why I keep talking about Dak. At the end of the day, when they cover everybody, they got Zeke, run the ball. That is the equalizer, period. Joe Burrow, he played great, man. He's gonna win the Heisman, man. I can't see him not winning it now.
But I mean, that Heisman Trophy was on the table, and Burrow jumped out the gate early on with LSU. I mean, scored on the first 2 sessions, and they were just. I mean, you can tell that the game plan was being executed to a T. They pretty much held Tua in check. And don't get it twisted. In the third quarter, second half, Tua was a Jekyll and Hyde. He was night and day.
But Jimmy, Alabama had a lot of holes in their defense, Jimmy. Like, it was a lot of miscues. I was sitting there going, like, what is Alabama doing? It was a ton of miscues, man. A ton of miscues. That's the first time.
Hey, could I say this? Is it a possibility that Alabama got out-coached yesterday?
Yes, they got out-coached. Absolutely got out-coached.
Great Nick Saban?
He got out-coached.
Wow.
Period.
Wow.
He got out-coached. That is, I'm telling you right now, I would not want to be the defense coordinator today in Alabama. Because there were so many miscues, man. Dudes were so wide open. I'm like, hold on. And Hatter, think about this. And Jimmy, you know this too from a recruiting standpoint. I would say that every dude, all 11 guys are 5 stars on Alabama's defense. I guarantee you that.
Yes.
All 5 stars.
It's probably 5 or at least or 4 at the
4
worst.
point whatever. But the question is on LSU side, and people don't know Burrow. Burrow was a 5-star coming out, played basketball. He played behind J.T. Barrett. Then they brought in Dwayne Haskins Hatter, who ended up being a starter with the Redskins, the first-round draft pick, and then he transferred to LSU. So this dude was a real dude. This not like a dude that couldn't play out of high school, like your boy out there in Cleveland was a walk-on and became the Heisman. This dude was a big-time player in high school.
I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking and I'm trying to find, can anybody out there in the Boom Boom Room tell me the name of number 24 for LSU, the cornerback? Number 24. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for his productivity, lack of productivity, LSU would have beat the doors off these guys. Number 24 for LSU was terrible.
Jimmy,
I'm talking about he got burned so many times.
Jimmy, do you know who he was playing against?
I don't.
That dude, not Judy. He was the other guy he was guarding. Was it Rick? Was it Riggs?
Man, this dude just got. I mean, he just. It was almost. It almost felt like it got to a point in the second half when I knew what Alabama was going to target. They were going to target him before the play even started. I said, "Uh-oh, they finna go at number 24." And sure enough,
you mean that play at the end when they threw the bomb?
He got burnt on that one.
They burnt it. He fell down though, but he fell down on that one.
It don't matter. Falling down is part of getting burnt. You grew up in Rosewood Park. You know what that means.
Hold on, Jimmy.
He got burnt.
I know, Jimmy. No, Jimmy. What about? Hold on. What about the time he was looking to the sideline? They was messing with him on the sideline.
Oh, I remember that.
His fault there, Jimmy.
I remember that. He got mad at somebody.
No. That is his fault too. Because it's a way you can listen to the sideline and still be paying attention. That was hit. He was undivided and just disrespected the receiver and went all the way and looked over there. I mean, it was not a good day for him at all. And, man. But anyway, I love the game. And what does it mean for LSU right now? They're number 1. The new Associated Press poll just released this morning in football, and it was overwhelmingly, but LSU picked up 54 first place votes. They leapfrog over the Ohio State, and Clemson is at number 3. Alabama's at number 4. Georgia at 5, and Oregon at 6.
Where is Oklahoma? Where is Oklahoma?
Oklahoma falls down to number 10.
They failed. They won and they failed.
Well, I mean, they fell from last week. They were
10. They were 9.
They were 11, I think, last week, right?
I thought they were 9 and fell to 10, and they won and they failed. Where's Penn State? Penn State lost.
Penn State fell down to number 9.
Penn State's still the hell of them.
Penn State fell from like 4 to number 9.
Hey, Jimmy, Troy and them was, I think they trying to give you on the Facebook feed, they trying to give you a little information that Stingley is the grandson of Darryl Stingley, who got paralyzed to play for the New England Patriots.
Patriots.
And he's one of Patriots. And he's one of the top cornerbacks in the country. And they was just letting you know he just got burnt that game.
He got burnt that game. How to remember now.
Got burnt like a French fry.
Well, in a high school game, and guys, understand. Remember, he was terrible on Saturday. I'm quite sure every starter on both sides of the ball for both teams are very, very good. Now, what happens is it's like when we went to the game North Shore versus Katy, right? And I remember even last year, how the first game of the season, we go there and the guy telling us how good this cornerback supposed to be. He's supposed to be All-American, this and that. And as soon as he says it, guess what happened? The kid get burnt about 3 times last year. It can happen. It happens. I understand that. But in that particular game, whoever wide receiver is, as good as this as Stingley is, so it's on as a cornerback, that wide receiver, it helps his prospect. Guys,
y'all got to understand, they showed the graphics the entire game. The 3 wide receivers versus the other 3 wide receivers. Alabama was terrible too. It wasn't just that kid on LSU side. Alabama couldn't stop those guys all night long. So they were elite corners going against elite wide receivers.
Yes.
Elite wide receivers on both sides.
So you're saying in football, good offense beat good defense?
No. Hey, by the way, y'all see Randy Moss' son make that catch too?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Chris, I just asked you a question. Good offense beat.
No.
You're just saying these guys getting burnt. So good offense.
You know what it was? No pass rush. Alabama could not. They got 5 or 6 sacks, but again, every time he needed to make a play, they made a play. Why is Alabama pressing up? They kept playing zone. Burrow was tearing them apart, man. Tearing them apart.
Hey, what about the midget from LSU?
Oh, number 22.
22.
Oh, he killed him.
Jim.
Who's a little running back from Philadelphia? He looked like Darryl Sproles. He looked like a little Darryl Sproles. Oh, my God. Darren Sproles. Killing him.
Game of his career. That's one of those games where all of a sudden the agents who hang around the locker rooms, hang around the dorms, and hang around the football team, all of a sudden they start, trust me, somebody they knew who he was after the game, had a talk with him after that game.
But
it stopped one up.
Explain this. I saw the LSU. LSU got so much swagger. Their players went to the end zone where Alabama recruits were, Jimmy, and told them, dude, y'all going to the wrong university. Y'all better rethink.
I love that. I love that.
I love that. But guess what? Then they get in the dressing room, and one of the players taped Ed Orgeron in his speech. Hey, players, we got to stop taping.
That's ridiculous.
And putting the stuff on Snapchat, stuff that happens in your dressing room, a la Antonio Brown. We got to cut that out, man. That's the down part of what happened in the game to me. The man, he said some bad words talking about Alabama and the coach, but that was an intimate setting, and it shouldn't have been taped. And shame on you, young man. I'm not gonna call your name out, but shame on you for letting.
Man, we should take the phones, man, and put them away. We never, until the coach stops talking, y'all can have y'all phones for situations just like that. Take their phones, put a sleeve together, put all of the numbers on it, turn them off, put them away after the coach speaks, give them their phones back.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'm like sitting over here unbelievably crazy that we haven't talked about is Hatter.
Yes, sir.
How are we not talking about what happened with James Wiseman in Memphis?
Because
that was the news of the weekend.
Yeah. And it piggybacked off of what happened to Chase Young. It piggybacked what happened.
Tell them know what happened. Tell them exactly what happened. A lot of people may not.
Well, let's talk about the Chase Young from a top, supposedly talked about being a Heisman candidate on defense. It ain't been but one Heisman winner on defense in the history.
But you know what that is now.
Yeah. I ain't gonna even call his name out. They better Google it. But what happened? Chase Young, they said he borrowed some money from a family friend who they found out later that might be an agent, and he got they held them out of the game. But in Memphis' case, Jimmy, which was a unique case with James Wiseman, and I just, really, truly, Jimmy, I don't know where I want to start because I got to, this is a thing that this is my alma mater. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. But I'm gonna try to explain some stuff to you. First of all, Jimmy, what I'll do, I'll let you talk about it, and then I'll come with the information that I have. Okay?
Well, some of the in regards to James Wiseman, basically back early this year in May, he was ruled eligible by the NCAA. So we're just going through the order of how we got here.
Okay.
So the NCAA, they also reviewed all things were supposed to have been considered upon making their decision. So proceed until now.
Okay, all right. And what happened, like Jimmy said, the NCAA in May, they went through an investigation, okay, with James Wiseman. First of all, always remember, I want to tell you some stuff about the NCAA. The NCAA don't go actively, they don't do audit of universities, I found out, Jimmy. They go on tips. They got, I've had the advantage of going up there before, and the NCAA is not like you think it is. The NCAA got about 40, 50, maybe 60 investigators, Jimmy, and all of these guys, these people, when they act on a tip, they run with it. So they go on a tip that somebody involved, that somebody evidently told him that Penny helped these James Wiseman and his mom move from Nashville and to Memphis when he was at East High School. Okay, they had his, before, I guess had to be before he got to East, because if he was already in East, they had already moved. You follow me? If he was already enrolled in East, that means he had already moved. So, and what happened? Somebody told it, and NCAA done an investigation. And the NCAA on May 29th deemed him eligible. You're cleared to play. Okay? So he was cleared to play, but October the 31st, they sent Memphis a letter saying that it was an error on their part, but we're going to allow it to go because it was our error. Then they came back when the kid play after the first game and scored a lot of points. They came back and said again, no, we're going to enforce it. So they went from, you cleared, okay, Jimmy, let me click Chris off. They went from cleared, then they went from we made an error, a clerical error, but since it was our error, it's okay, you're good. From there to saying, no, it's not completely investigated yet. Now we're gonna so play at your own risk. And Jimmy, let me tell you something unique that happened this time. The university, because I've been seeing some stupid people getting on Twitter like Seth Davis and talking about Penny made an error. Let me tell you something. Penny Hardaway, as the coach, don't have that kind of power to put a player that the NCAA. He don't have that kind of power. Let me repeat that to all the ignorant people who out there talking about Penny. They was texting me, Penny did this, Penny. He don't have the power to do that. That had to come from the president. Hold up, excuse me. The AD, Jimmy, I found out, don't have that kind of power. The president, David Rudd, said, look here, man. Y'all ain't going to play these games with me. I'm the president of a university. You little clowns up there sitting in them cubicles, and I'm a doctor. I got a PhD. you little clowns sitting up there in them cubicles in Indianapolis, y'all gonna have to bring more than that to sit up there and tell my player he was eligible, then come back and say you made an error and you're gonna adhere to the error, and then come back later and say play at your own risk. That's why we had an injunction. James Wiseman is suing the NCAA, and if you look in the fine print, you'll see sometimes they saying he's suing Memphis. The reason Memphis is a part of, because Memphis is a part of the NCAA. I repeat, James Wiseman is not suing the university. He's suing the NCAA, and it's got a whole lot of, I got a lot of technical terms, Jimmy, but I didn't talk to him. You might have some insight. You might want to add some here, and then I'll come back and give you some more stuff that I found out. What do you think?
Well, first, going back, and of course, one of the questions before I add my commentary on my opinions on it, Trey Phillips asked the question, why was he being investigated before May? And James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Well, in many cases, in recent years, a lot of the number one picks have been investigated by the NCAA. And the walls start to close in on each one. You guys remember a couple of years ago, it was Marvin Bagley. And remember what was unfounded with Marvin Bagley and the living arrangements, or the different, not say living arrangement, the different setting from which his father or his parents moved from Arizona to California. And then also what comes into play, you have to realize it is what it is. The property value of the home for which he moved into was over $1 million home. And then documents started being leaked out as far as receipts from accusing him or the dad of being floated payments, which the payments were legal by way of funding a grassroots program. So now fast forward to now, James Wiseman, number one player in the country, being investigated. That's common. That's commonplace on the boys' side. On the boys' side, actually, anywhere in the top 3 to 5, it should not be any type of hell. R.J. Hampton was being investigated earlier this year from out of Dallas. He was being investigated.
Yeah, but in this case, Jimmy, in this case, and if this case, I'm glad you said that. So they investigated it, and they found him eligible. That's the key thing. They found him eligible. Then something else that hold up. No new evidence, what I found out, Jimmy. No new evidence. It's just somebody seemed like, and Jimmy, it was some unique stuff I wanted to share. Alex Lomax, the point guard on the team that was going to Wichita State and changed his mind, that was one of the kids Penny first got in middle school when he came over to help coach the team while Merriweather was hurt. I mean, he was diagnosed with cancer. He's done things for that kid, and nobody never said anything about it. You follow me? He done things because he was like a surrogate father to this kid, right? So it's crazy, Jimmy, that they tried to paint Penny as a booster. Okay, did you see that part?
And I saw the part. Understand. This is not nobody from Penny's side of the fence or the University of Memphis has not denied that Penny Hardaway helped the family move to the tune of approximately $11.5 thousand. So this is not being denied. Now,
let's play something. I got something.
That way, and obviously it happened for us, which is, I'm happy for James, but we'll have to see where this goes from here. I guess it's kind of where I want to leave it, especially early in the process of what's going on.
Coach, it was quite a surprise to hear that James was going to play. Why allow
Jimmy, I had you muted
before this situation has completely been resolved?
Well, that's just up to the school. We're just going to go about it legally moving forward. Obviously, James has the right to do what he did, and we're moving forward from it. He's playing right now. We'll just continue to go along his lane. Our guys are young. Obviously, this is new for everybody, and like I said, we're just going to keep our guys locked in.
The NCAA released a statement during the game that read in part that Memphis was notified that Wiseman is likely ineligible. The university chose to play him and ultimately is responsible for ensuring its student athletes are eligible to play. Do you have a response to that?
No, I don't.
All right. So
Friday has been the quietest day on the college basketball calendar. Not so much tonight. Our lead NBA analyst, Jalen Rose, joins us for more perspective. He straddled and been so successful in the college and the pro game. So bottom line, what do you make of this news regarding Wiseman?
Another example of how the NCAA continues to disincentivize talented young people from wanting to play collegiate sports. This is why for decades I've called this system a form of indentured servitude, because once you sign a letter of intent, where else can talented young people not profit off of their name, off of their likeness, when they're so very skilled and gifted at what they do, yet when you join the NCAA, you're also not allowed to work. It doesn't take place anywhere else in society, and that's why this model has been turned upside down for so very long.
What advice would you just give Wiseman and his family right now?
In anybody's mock draft, he's going to be in the top 3. He's shown how he can perform even in the first game this year for Memphis. I would advise him to continue to practice with his team. He wanted to be a collegiate athlete. He wanted to go to Memphis. He wanted to play for Penny and try to fight the process like he's doing right now. If he comes back to him that he's unable to perform, then hire a trainer, continue to work on your game, keep your nose clean, enter the draft, and ultimately be a top flight pick.
There's been a ton of people in this sport that were kind of rubbed the wrong way with the way Penny walked in. We're going to win a national championship. I'm going to get the nation's largest, best recruiting class coming off an NIT appearance. And now the crown jewel of that class finds himself in this situation. Short term, what does this mean for Anthony Hardaway?
Oh, that has a term attached to it. It's called selective enforcement. The late, great Jerry Tarkanian once said, when the NCAA gets upset at Kentucky, they put Cleveland State on probation. If you look deeper into a lot of signings, in particular of top-flight athletes, you can see history of family members moving to the city or the state that they play in, being employed by the school, being hired to do basketball camps, getting impermissible benefits. This thing has been happening since the beginning of time, and I don't think it's going to put a smear on Penny Hardaway in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I know you guys mentioned it during your NBA halftime, that this has been a somewhat difficult day to be a prospective #1.
Well, we back. No, but Jim, I know you feel the clip might have been a little too long, but I just wanted people to get, because you hear other side. A lot of people didn't hear Jalen. You heard Jay Billis on there with his thing take, and you didn't get a chance to hear Jay. A lot of people didn't get a chance to hear Jalen Rose. So I apologize for giving that, but I just want y'all, because there's some things I'm going to give y'all. I just want you to have a lot of information about it. Now, what did you have, Jimmy?
I'm trying to understand. Now, I'm giving you guys facts. I know I was studying about the opinion part. That come later. Fact is, Penny Hardaway provided financial assistance to the family. And at that time, Penny Hardaway was deemed a booster by the NCAA. And we talked about the topic of being a booster. We joked about it a couple of months ago, back when football season was beginning. We was talking about TSU and all that stuff, and we was joking about being a booster. And then I tried to explain at that time how easy it is to be declared a booster. If you give any funds to your alma mater, you could be deemed a booster.
So, Jimmy, let me ask you a question. Here's my question. If James Wiseman had gone to, and I'm not indicting any schools, had he gone to Kentucky, would we be talking about this today? Had he gone to Duke, Penny was still a booster. Here's my problem with it. Penny Hardaway, when this kid was a player, he didn't know he was going to be the head coach in Memphis.
I got a question.
He had no idea he was going to be the head coach when he did that. I've been a summer coach. Hello, Hatter, 1 second. I've been a summer coach. I give money to my university. You know how I treat my kids, first class. What if I did stuff like that for parents? Because in the AAU world, that's what you do. That's what these knuckleheads don't get because they've never been in that world. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Period. I listened to Dick Vitale talk about these people, and she paid the money back, right, Hatter?
That's the football situation. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Hatter, James Wiseman. Did she pay the money back?
Chris, I want to pivot to something else first. Okay. First of all, the NCAA is a nonprofit, is the only nonprofit in the whole country that spends tens of millions of dollars a year suing its members and its athletes. And we allow this. First of all, both of y'all kept saying booster, booster. And what I wanted to ask you, did you actually look up the booster rule? The booster in the rule, in that big old book, boosters are, they are finite in what they are. They help the athletic department, and they're deemed a booster if you give to the athletic department. Penny didn't give that money, Jimmy, to the athletic department.
He gave it to the Sports Hall of Fame. He gave it to the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame.
No. He gave that to the Alumni Hall of Fame of the university. They don't even take recruits on a visit to that place. So that is not, I'm telling you something I know, nothing I heard, because I just left the campus.
We just said the same thing.
No.
I said the Hall of Fame.
It's different, Jimmy. It's different, just like any philanthropist. You got $1 million, a $100 million athlete, go and give money, not to a 501c3, okay?
To the Hall of Fame, right?
It's the Alumni Hall of Fame, not the Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay, the Alumni Hall of Fame.
He's a representative athletic interest.
The boosters give. Go read your. Since you call them on, go read your book. It has to be in the rules. It's got to be to the athletic department and the booster. Boosters got their own. Chris, you should know this. They got their own segment in there. And Chris, guess what they said? Hold up. You deem a booster until they say you're not a booster. Hold up.
Disassociate themselves with you.
Then they added. So if I gave money in 2008 and I ain't gave no more money, they done wrote my ass off the booster list, Chris. Chris, they done wrote me off the booster list. Come on, man. You can't. And the NCAA, guess what they come back with, Chris? Well, we got a new rule, a new interpretation of this rule. You're a booster into a perpetuity, to forever. They just redid. That's not in the bylaws. That's just what they did in this James Wiseman case. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a lot of loopholes that these guys did. Hey, look, you got Leslie Ballard, one of the best trial attorneys in the country, getting ready to go against the people who you think so great up there in Indianapolis, and watch what happens. You can go with that booster rule all you want to.
Understand something. Can I get 2 minutes to just give my thoughts on this? Every time I give a half minute, one of y'all interrupted me. So the thing is, that's why I asked you how to give all what you got. You say give some, you want to come back and we get to talk and give the rest.
Go talk. You just get yours out. Get yours out.
So exactly, that's what I'm trying to do. So my thing, I'm trying to give November the 18th is the next hearing. That's a fact. I'm giving you facts, and you're screwing. Then in the meantime, a while ago, okay, it was the Hall of Fame or the alumni, whatever it is, the Hall of Fame. The one word of the sport.
I'm telling you what it is. Okay, you can. I'm telling you what it is.
What I'm calling is the Hall of Fame.
You can call it whatever the word you want to call it. You ain't never stepped your ass on the campus. So you can call it what the hell you want it. I'm just trying to give you the exact thing. This was going to be in the court case.
Once again, November the 18th is the next hearing. See, here's the thing that you guys understand. At this point, it's beyond that. It's beyond that for the NCAA in Memphis. This thing is beyond. This is personal at this point right now.
Duh.
This is the president. This is the AD. This is Penny taking a collective stance, and the timing of it. And of course, it's unfortunate. James Wiseman is the person that's in litigating in court. Penny Hardaway don't have to is not required or obligated to go to court. So at this time, his requirement is going to be answering to this athletic director, to his compliance to the NCAA by means of that method. Now, here's what I'm saying. Here's what happens. It's all likelihood that the hearing on the 18th is going to get a continuance. And this continuance could go and take the judge who's in the Memphis area could very well continue this thing all the way through the season. So this, when I say, is beyond this. So now what does the NCAA do? They've already, on Tuesday, the NCAA sent an email to the University of Memphis and basically had deemed and insinuated that this young man was ineligible. Memphis, the university, decided to still play the man. That's kind of against the grain. So that now it puts them, based on all the occurrence events that happened over the past 2 months. Now you have a school that's rising up and got an injunction, right? So now, if this temporary restraining order, the TRO, if this thing goes all the way through and it lasts through the season, you can expect the NCAA, they only have one thing they probably can do. And they're probably going to go and try to move and do everything in their power to hinder Memphis from participating in the postseason. That's what's be at stake now, and what'll be facing. They'll be taking a stance going in. Am I for that? Hell no. I'm understand. Just get this straight. This is what I'm just presenting to you guys, what to prepare for, to watch in this squabble. There's going to be a squabble now, and it ain't in it now because presidents normally or ADs normally bow down to the recommendation of the NCAA. You normally police yourself. So Memphis is saying, wait a minute, we all policing ourselves. You guys ruled our guy to be this kid to be eligible. Now you're messing with it, and this happened to be this ain't the first time they've been messing with the coach since he stepped foot on the campus. They were messing with the coach before he stepped foot on the campus. If I'm not mistaken. Is that the same AD or that a different AD?
No, I'm gonna let you talk.
I don't think it was the same AD when he got hired.
I'm gonna let you go.
And so
keep on going.
And so now, once again, the Laird Veach, or however you pronounce his name, the guy from Memphis. So I read the comment from the president. He says Memphis will accept responsibility for proving violations. We firmly support James Wiseman, Coach Hardaway, and our men's program. We also support James Wiseman's right to challenge the NCAA's ruling. Going to the AD, his comment, Memphis will stand up and fight for each other and for what is right. And I'm proud to stand with them. So obviously, they are in unison on Memphis' side of the fence. Now, a lot of people get mad and wondering, saying, like Chris mentioned earlier, what if this was at Kentucky? Ironically, the current sitting head coach at Kentucky was at the helm at University of Memphis. Well, the last time they had a season vacated back when over the Derrick Rose issue. So what if this kid was at Duke? Would it be the same energy? And not likely. That's why it stings so much, because they're seeing what's happening, and you rest assured, if this happened to Penny, and if by chance a kid like Cade Cunningham touches the campus in Stillwater next season at OSU, you can rest assured they're coming after Mike Boynton as well. We're starting to win in the terms of recruiting with schools that hadn't won the battles of recruiting against the Blue Bloods in a long time. So that's all I'm saying. Just lace up and watch this thing It's going to be, I expect it to be dirty. I expect it to be messy over the years because stuff is going to come out in regard to the NCAA and fights against it, and it's going to help. It's going to help the students in the long run. I really believe that. I really believe that's what I got to say on that part about giving you guys, giving them some of the facts that's on the table right now.
Chris, you muted yourself, Chris. Chris, you're muted. Chris is muted.
I said I want to ask how I had to jump off for a second. Is James Wiseman from Kentucky or Nashville? Where is he from?
He's from Nashville.
And when exactly did he get moved to Memphis?
I don't know the exact date.
I think 11th grade.
So was he already a good player? Is what I'm asking. Was he already good, or was he already thought of again?
When he first came to Memphis and moved, when he moved to Memphis, he was a good player. Yes, he was a good player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But not like, so my thing
relationship. And see, this is what people don't understand. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. You can read all these damn newspapers all you want, and y'all can tell me, yes, I'm getting it. Only reason I'm talking, first of all, I'm loud to all of you, with y'all loud ass when y'all be out drinking and you want to talk about me being loud. Okay, number one. But second of all, it's a lot of stuff that I'm privy to that Jimmy ain't privy to. And I know y'all think he King Jimmy and he know everything. But it's certain things about that I'm telling you that's going to get argued if it ever go to court. That's the points I was trying to make. Even the booster situation, it's going to get argued in court. Let me tell you who don't want this to go to court, Chris Walker.
Who's that?
NCAA don't want, because what you said,
no doubt,
they always gonna lose. You think a jury in Memphis, Tennessee, gonna convict? And think about this, Chris. No other in history that not AD, the president. Now you gotta understand, the president helps. And what I done found out, y'all, Memphis just ain't scared of the NCAA. Memphis done found out the NCAA is there to support the universities, not the universities there to support the NCAA. So these people got a lot of legal presidents ahead of them, and y'all what y'all don't understand, ain't nobody ever been deemed eligible. If y'all listening in the damn beginning, Clarence Harris, they deemed eligible and then come back without no new information and said, we made a clerical error. If you didn't hear that from the beginning, we made a clerical error. Now we gonna, hold on a minute. In other words, it's like Charlie Brown and Lucy, Chris. You know how Lucy used to do Charlie Brown? Talking about, get on the rug, don't wear it. And then the last minute, pull the rug away button. Let me tell you something, man. When you got powerful people like David Rudd, the president of the university, siding with the player, man, let me tell you something. You're right. It's a court date coming up, and they're going to do everything to push this. Let me tell y'all something. Memphis ain't worried about something being vacated. They've been vacated before. Do you think? And they came back. They ain't worried about being vacated some wins. But if they got a chance on winning this case, they got to take all of that stuff y'all been sticking y'all chest out about the NCAA. You, Jimmy, all that stuff y'all been talking about, Memphis is trying to fight it now. All that gorilla stuff y'all talking about, oh, well, it's happening. Y'all text me every day. It's happening in St. Louis. It happened in Florida. It's happening. Memphis saying, okay, all right, we're going to fight this thing because he wasn't a booster. He's a philanthropist that gave money. Y'all got to understand, when you argue this stuff out in a court, it's different than you public opinion people. It's different. And yes, I'm going to always be. I graduated from there. Of course, I'm going to always be. But I know stuff and I know facts that y'all not privy to. And that's just it. And it's okay.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Is it fair I'm just saying now, is it fair to the other kids on the team who want to play in the NCAA tournament if there's a chance that he may be deemed ineligible and they won't get a chance to do something that's personal to them?
Ask the AD. I can't. Let me tell you what you're not listening to, Chris.
No, I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question.
You answer that question.
You're saying they're going to fight it and they don't care if they get the wins vacated, but the other kids on the team, they got a future too.
Chris, the attorney, I didn't have a chance to put the attorney on there. He said, ain't no way in the world I'm fighting this thing if I don't think I can win it. Why you think, do you see how quick they did an injunction? They took this boy, hold up, they already knew this stuff was going to happen. They had the judge waiting on the kid when he left the shoot around. The kid was at shoot around. He left shoot around, had to go to court, him and his coach. He come back 45 minutes before the game. Think about this, Chris. They didn't have to play against UIC to beat them. James didn't have to play against them. He could have held them out. But David Rudd said, hell no. We gonna beat this thing. James playing. We gonna beat this thing. They didn't need them to beat T. Harvey and them.
Man, why you chopping T. Harvey up, man?
No. But Jimmy bragging talking about he got the scout. Yeah, he got the scout all right. Got their head beat.
92-46.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, he got the scout.
92-46.
So all I'm trying to explain is, from just the stuff that I can talk about, that they're gonna have their day in court on the 18th. James Wiseman, I don't know if y'all, I don't know if y'all know, got on the plane this morning, and they ought to be in Portland, Oregon right now. So guess what? It's up on, and you saying it's fair, maybe it's fair to the kid. They think they can win this thing, Chris. I'm telling you. They feel they got grounds to win this thing. And that's all I can say about
it. Well, moving forward now, the thing is, regardless of what happened, I'm thinking that the NCAA part, that's what I'm saying, is be like you asked, Chris, what about the other players? Well, this is part of the sacrifice. So in rallying in support of your teammate, then for which, especially the freshmen, for which is a lot of part of the reason why few of those, not many, there was a Fab Five type recruiting class that came into Memphis this past spring or last November during the early and the late signing dates. Well, James Wiseman is part of the reason for at least a couple of them. So in the fight, in the struggle, something has to be sacrificed. So this could be a landmark, memorable case, and that could bring, if it is effective, meaning that effective doesn't mean James Wiseman gets still playing through the rest of the regular season. Effective would mean James Wiseman would still be playing through the entire season. That's what would be deemed effective.
Hey, Chris, they could have took the rule, Chris. You know how they talking about you pay the money back and pay 30% of the season or something. You get docked 30% of the season. They could have did that. They knew that option, Chris. And the president. So I don't want none of you clowns talking about it was Penny. The president of the university said, hey, man, we gonna beat this thing. We know what happened. See, and what I was saying, and I thought it in my mind, maybe Penny should have did like Will Wade and all these other dudes and lie. No, I didn't do it. Maybe when they told it on him, when they snitched on him. Hey, hold up. By the way, Chris Walker, you asked me a great question last night. You said, Robert, you said, for them to do this, somebody else then came and said something. I found out it wasn't nothing new. Somebody then came and said, man, you gonna let them get away with this? You made it, but you gonna let them get away with this? And it could have been Cal, somebody else, one of their competitors, or because all of them know, because all of them knows the dudes know, or a coach that Penny didn't hire, or a coach you said that Penny fired last year. So all of, because guess what? And I found out this. That's why I was trying to get out earlier before Jimmy got in. Jimmy, they don't usually open the procedure when they deem you eligible, Chris. Chris, you should know this. That case is gone. They moving on to the next. If you can see, they behind on even letting guys be eligible. They can't even find out where a kid is eligible, and the season has started. So so these same people that we're talking about, right? They sitting up here, they can't even do that. So David Rudd said, man, no. He said, no, these people are wrong. You can't tell me yes. Then come back and say, our era, we're going to honor it. And then come back and say, because Jimmy then came and whispered something in my ear. Hey, man, don't let him play. Y'all got to divorce that thing. That's the problem. And Jimmy, it's some judicial terms to that. And I just don't, I had them in my information, but I don't feel like looking through. It's some, the suit, they got judicial terms. They call third part, it's a couple of judicial terms. Like Memphis, the university and the president got a contract with whom? The NCAA. Penny and James are third party. They didn't sign a contract with the NBA. They signed a contract with the NCAA. They signed a contract with the university. It's a lot of legal precedents going here, Jimmy. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. I'm not saying what you were just telling the stuff that you read in the newspaper. And I'm giving you the facts from the people at the university. So we're going to have two different, you want to report what you read in the newspaper, and it's my job to give you, because I've been in the room. I was on a conference call. So
what if they lose? What if they lose?
If they lose, guess what? If they lose, they lose. James Wiseman still play his old season of basketball. And guess what? Guess who get the penalty? The school and the coach. And the school and the coach are big boys. Penny ain't worried about it. He a big boy.
Those kids as well. Huh? The kids get the penalty as well.
Yeah, but the kids can always come back and play again. James getting a penalty.
But what if you're those kids as parents, though? What if you're those kids as parents?
Hey, Chris, there's always casualties in war. Y'all the very guys who get on this same thing and talking about, man, you got to sacrifice. Or Daryl Morey, he sacrificed. Or Colin Kaepernick, he sacrificed. Just maybe James is going, because James don't have to fight this. James can say, okay, I'm going to be the number one damn pick anyway, Jimmy Hicks. He can go and just say, man, he can quit and go do whatever the hell he wants to. This university alongside James said they're going to fight.
Now this is when I said a while ago, this is way beyond the initial thing at hand. This is way beyond that. That's why I meant when I say it's way beyond that. If that's the case, he could easily just took that road and say, okay, I'm gone. I'm bouncing. I'm good. Oh, it's beyond that.
They feel they can win it, Jimmy. I'm telling you. I know y'all got these naysayers because y'all the NCAA. The NCAA, Chris Walker said point blank, they always lose when they go to court.
So understand that. So what do you think about? You just said that we naysaying. Nobody's naysaying on here. Where do you get that from? Who's naysaying? No, I'm quite sure that Chris Walker is pro Penny in this thing right now.
This ain't a
absolutely.
Notice me. I've said Penny less than any time ever on this show. I'm talking about David Rudd. I told y'all Penny ain't got nothing to do with this decision.
No.
Repeat that.
No. Here's why it goes though. In the sphere of things, it's NCAA collegiate men's basketball. The rest of the basketball world in that Penny, because that it rolls downhill. So now Penny may not have anything to do with this decision, but the fact still remains is that the actions or the non-actions of Penny is what he's being accused of doing is wrapped his name into
he was an employee there.
Yeah, before he's an employee there. So that's being accused. So all that goes up under accused as to when, what, where, how, and why. That means you're accused.
Hey, Jimmy, let me ask you a question. So how do we look at, I don't want to unfairly accuse people, whatever. How do we look at some of these boosters, not boosters, some of these guys that are flying kids on private planes, paying for parents to go to all these events? Why? Tell me about why they're not considered. So at the end of the day, and they went to some college probably, right? And if they could, because Jimmy, I'm going somewhere. We know a specific guy that had a team, and he was trying to drive everybody to a specific school. Am I lying, Jimmy? You know exactly where I'm coming from. Right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, because Penny Hardaway is doing it, it's a problem.
But you realize nobody, see, that's the thing. At that time, back when you were talking about that situation or scenario, remember, the NCAA doesn't have surveillance at every basket in every program as to what's going on.
They don't.
They only know. It's like this, guys. I'll put it like this. Wherever you live at right now, if there was a crime committed down the street or across the street, how would the police know to get there?
Somebody call them.
That's the only way that they know to come, unless they happen to do a routine drive down that street. Somebody has to phone 911 or directly into the precinct. Similar to the NCAA. What they do is, now don't get it twisted, sometimes they can casually be in the building, and you have, and in the past, you've had some people that do what I call grandstanding. Some guys that are affiliated with families, and they will be in the stand sitting next to mom and dad, and you're wearing something that's inviting people's eyes to watch you. And the NCAA can be casually sitting there, and they're gonna know what they're gonna do. They're gonna go to somebody, or they'll text somebody and ask them, who's that guy over there sitting next to them? You know him? And that's how they get their intel.
And Jimmy,
by word of mouth.
Somebody just
Somebody
just texted me and told me. I guess somebody from Memphis is watching this, because he said in 2008, when Penny gave the tax-deductible $1 million donation to the university, a charity nonprofit thing for a Sports Hall of Fame, which has nothing to do with the athletics department. The Sports Hall of Fame has nothing to do with the athletic department. There's two different entities. So that's what they just
explain. Here's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So a booster is called an athletic, a interest of athletic, a person of athletic interest, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is, do they take the kid to see the Sports Hall of Fame? Do they? So if you give money, they may not give it specifically to the basketball program, but do they use that Sports Hall of Fame in the recruiting aspect? That's what I'm asking.
I was trying to get that out earlier. Okay, Chris, I've been on the recruiting visits. I was there when R.J. Hampton and Jalen Green was there. I was there when several other players were there. I went on a tour with them. They never drove by this place and never said anything about this place. That's why I'm telling you, I have knowledge that the people in the newspaper don't have. That's the point. It was never even came up. Ask the parents. Y'all know some of these parents? Ask them. It was never even brought up. So it's a different entity. And that's the point I was trying to make earlier when you're calling. See, the easy thing for them to do is to say he's a booster now. Evidently, something happened for them to clear it, Jimmy. I'm trying to figure out whom prompted them to come back. You've been around, you know Kobe, you know all of these folks. I can't believe you didn't pick up the phone and call our girl, your homegirl who recently been in it. And I can't believe you ain't called her and said, what the hell going on? And guess what? If Penny helping that family, because he done help every day. Because guess what? Don't no parent, test this out. His AAU team, King Penny, don't no parent, no kid pay for nothing. The 12-year-old, the 11-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 10 and under, the 1 and under, and the whatever the under, for years, he sold in that community as a philanthropist. So, don't you think those lawyers, they got some of the best, they got one of the best lawyers in the world working on this. Don't you think they're going to use that? That's all I'm trying to say. It's some things that it looked like he's a booster, he gave some money, or Jay Billis said he gave some money. It's clear cut. In this case, it's not as clear cut. That's all I'm trying to say. Chris?
Understand, the money and the gave is two different things. One thing as far as Penny being the booster, that's the interpretation of the courts or whatever the judge would have to rule on as to whether he's deemed a booster or not. That's going to be that's it. That's going to be the decision.
Yes.
Now another thing is regarding to the eligibility of James Wiseman, which that's who they deemed him eligible in May. That has nothing to do with with that money that Penny gave to Memphis. The money from him getting eligible.
No, Jimmy.
Let me back up a little bit.
Back up.
Let me back up. The money that Penny, the situation that was primary at hand for the NCAA was the $11,500 that they were aware of in May. That was the primary. Now they're coming back and saying now they mean the NCAA. Oh, we didn't know about this.
No, they didn't. They didn't say that. They didn't say that, Jimmy. They said they made a clerical error.
Well, I'm sorry. We didn't know about it. Meaning, we overlooked this part.
And now, but guess what?
So now,
we made a clerical error, and so it's on us. So y'all still clear.
If you go through the drive-through and you order a burger or a sandwich or in the drive-through, and you get to the front and they mess up your order, what is likely to happen unless you take whatever they give you in that bag and they mess your order up and don't give you the burger, you just got the fries and the drink. Know what's normally to happen? Or if you go in a restaurant and sit down and you order something, they take too long for your food, or they mess up your meal, what the manager is likely to do? He's likely to come out, apologize, or he's going to comp your meal. He's going to comp something. Get you a free appetizer at the worst case scenario. In other words, they're going to accept responsibility for their fault. And that's basically what happened. It's going to come down to the courts. Remember, the courts in Memphis, this Memphis judge is already being pegged as a pro-Memphis University of Memphis guy. Which, why would he not? So understand something. So this thing, November the 18th is the date to put on the calendar, which is 1 week from today. This is when the time comes. So what happens, expect for a reset or a continuance to be granted from this pro-Memphis judge.
Jimmy.
This is when, on the 18th, is when all hell, when this shit gets really funny.
I'm going to tell you guys why this is a problem.
Okay.
Let me tell you why this is a problem. If that judge says that he can play, do you understand? Everybody that's got a waiver, anybody that's got anything pending, those dudes may put those kids on that floor. Because if they see James Wiseman win, they're gonna be like, hold on, if he can win,
go get an injunction. You
go get an injunction and let's play every kid. So they may bust the whole system.
So that's what I meant.
So why get mad at me? Because Memphis is smart enough. People act like it is a Memphis thing. But I'm just giving you facts. Herb, we've been on this show for an hour and 19 minutes. Yes, he agreed, Herb, that he did do that. I'm going to repeat that. Everybody on there, Penny agreed. Yes, I helped. Boy, and guess what? And I tried to say, y'all, he helped a lot of more people. He spent $300,000 a year on his AAU teams. Nobody paid for nothing. So guess what? But he wasn't a college coach. Now you go back and go and say, okay, man, all right, I understand. You got a pattern of giving. And I know if it's wrong, it's wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just telling you, don't tell me you're gonna give me, I don't want to talk like that. Don't tell me you're gonna do this, Jimmy. And it's like, hold up. It's like Chris Walker telling me. Hey, it's like Chris Walker telling me, right? Saying, Hatter, this is what we're gonna do. Me and you gonna go build this land, and we're gonna build this lot on this vacant lot. I done put all my resources, I done did all that, and did all this, and then the next thing you know, Chris Walker said, no, at the last minute, he come talking about, no, man, I ain't gonna do it. But now it's a turn for that. So that's all they saying. I mean, it's gonna be a great thing, great, and I'm proud of them. I'm just proud of my school sitting up saying, hey, man, we just not gonna just let it happen to us like that. I'm proud of it, and that's all. I didn't mean to get too excited about it, but yeah, that dude, I love them my folks, man. I love them folks. So y'all can go on with that mess.
He said, I love them folks. Yeah. He said, I love them. Anyway, guys, so give you guys something. We pivot up when we talk. So we got some NBA talk coming up next on the Chop Shop NBA talk. Lakers finally suffer their second defeat of the season. And guess what? We got a lot more to talk about it. What's going on in New York City?
What's up, everybody? It's Robert Hatter.
And this is Jim Hicks of the Chop Shop.
You know,
let's go.
That was one of our hot takes when we were doing the thing. You can go back now, Jimmy. I just want to show the people how we mess around. We was talking about the show, but I'm gonna find the good one in a minute. Come on back.
Yeah. So of course, NBA action right now. I'm looking around, and of course tonight the Rockets are at the Pelicans. Rockets are 6-3. Guess what, guys? Only one game out of first place. The Houston Rockets, they're 6-3. And of course, the Lakers and the Nuggets are tied at 7-2. So this Rocket team, one thing about it, there's no unbeaten teams in the league this year. There's no clear-cut dominating team in the league this year. So the parity, we look back and I asked you guys, it's going to be twofold. At this point, who's your most disappointing team in the East and the West, and who's your most surprising team in the East and the West? Chris. He's muted right now. Get yourself off mute.
Oh, my most disappointed team in the East?
Yes.
Ooh, I would say the Knicks, because I thought the Knicks would be better. I don't know why. But I you know what? I take that back. I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets. Because I thought Kyrie, because think about what happened in Boston, Kyrie needed to have some type of showing to show that, you know what, I'm a dude. I don't need a LeBron. I don't need a KD. Clearly, he's a Robin. He's a good player, but he's a Robin. No doubt about that. In the East. In the West, ooh, that's a tough one. I watched the Rockets play the other night. I've taken them off the disappointment list. Oh, my goodness. James Harden told them dudes, he cooked them dudes like it was gumbo. It was crazy. And they just, the Bulls are terrible. But the East, most disappointing team. The West, the Pelicans, most disappointing team. Because Hatter and all his little nieces and nephews, Lonzo Ball, he loved Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, as all the Hatter's homeboys. They not as good as you thought, man. I'm telling you. It's the reason why they're not in LA. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. Those other guys still playing. It doesn't matter. You ask me, I'm giving you my point. The Pelicans are the most disappointing team.
So the most.
Keep going, man. Y'all keep going, Jimmy.
And so the most disappointing team, mine, I would concur with Brooklyn in the East. Brooklyn Nets at 4-5, a sub after 10 games in. Well, just say they're 9 games they played. no matter what happens in the next game, they won't have a winning record. So for Brooklyn to not have a winning record at the 10-game mark, right now, they're the most disappointing in the East. My team in the West is the Portland Trail Blazers. The Portland Trail Blazers is at 4-6, guys. They've only won 4 out of their first 10 games. This is a team that, once again, you think about their swagger and how they talk. They picked up Whiteside midway through last season, and he's been familiar. He's been pretty solid in the rebound, double-double the other night. But I'm just not feeling.
But they lost a lot of guys, a lot of those 6 through 10 guys. And Jimmy, I like Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum, but when you look at the other teams, I'm sorry, man. They dynamic duo is nothing like the other ones. They're more like the Green Arrow and somebody else. They're not Batman and Robin, Superman and Superboy. That's a whole different deal. I like them, but I think Portland is really where they should be based on the talent in the West.
And I hate to agree with you, Chris, but my two, I'm gonna just be different. I thought the Sacramento Kings would have been a little bit better. I ain't saying great, but I thought they would have been a little bit better. And I would have thought in the East, me personally, I didn't expect the Knicks to go just two wins, 1 or 2 wins in the season. I did not expect that, and it's gonna cost a great man his job. It's gonna cost a great.
Yeah, he gonzo.
Yeah.
But hey, Jimmy, I know you like to have that little sauce in that cup. But you didn't ever take some of that stuff Dion Waiters took, did you?
No.
What's up with? They say another player gave it to him.
Man, please, come on, man, stop that, Hatter. Don't even put that out there, Hatter. Don't even put that out there.
Yeah, they said another player gave it to him.
Huh? You know what? I think that people say stuff like that because that's what the society we accept that. So remember. Whenever somebody pisses or dirty, they always say, "Well, I didn't know that was in my trainer gave it to me. I didn't know that was in my system or that was in the mixture or in the concoction." So it's always that. But bottom line is responsibility. Guess what? Dion Waiters, remember now, go back. So if that was the excuse on that day for this airplane to taking these gummies, allegedly, then what was your excuse for going after the head coach and making that stupid comment to your superior, your boss, the other day before the opening season? Remember, he basically made a comment. He what's the young man's name?
Dion Waiters.
Dion Waiters
made the comment to Eric Spoelstra saying, hell, I could have coached LeBron and Wade and Bosh and won a title. In other words, challenging his expertise, his creed, his resume as a head coach. And this was before game 1.
And he's right, but keep going.
And Jimmy, in all seriousness now, that guy was sick, man. That guy was unconscious on that plane. He got sick on the plane.
Well, the dose was heavier than he thought it was.
Yeah, it was a scary moment, man. I know we making light of it now, but it's a scary moment. For real.
He got 10 games to think about it. So there you go.
Well, the thing is with him is that he will understand certain things that some people do. Your actions will be held in the process of people how they reflect and how they think about you. This kid came into Miami, and just 2 seasons ago, he hit a big bucket. Scored, I think, 40 in a game, and then beat his chest saying, "This is my court, this is my house," in disrespect to Dwayne Wade. This is my house. So then you come back, this your house, then you act like it. And you coming back now, you fast forward, this the same guy. And you're having problems being healthy and keeping yourself off the court for the opener. You didn't play in no Olympics or no qualifier. Hell, you weren't even invited for the B team. You didn't play on the team that Zion then played on. So this same guy, has Dion ever made an All-Star game? No.
Hell no.
So think about now.
That don't mean he don't have an opinion.
No, he got an opinion, but but at some point,
most millionaires have strong opinions.
And you know what? And many of those who last a long time know how to suppress them and know the timing to release those opinions.
I thought it was freedom of speech.
They come with consequences. He got 10 games as far as consequences. That's just 11 because he missed the first game. No, he didn't. He missed more than the first game. Should he miss the first 2 or 3 games because of that? So he would have missed. I mean, enough for Dion Waiters. We got.
Yeah. I want to bring it up.
Now, hey, listen. It's just you need to tell people the thing that comes out of this. A, freedom of speech has a cost, and B, guys, you never see this happening to good players, man. Good players that got their mind in the right place, that stuff don't happen to them, man. It don't happen to them. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just don't. These dudes are knuckleheads that make a lot of money and they complain. And guess what? Antonio Brown bad stuff happened. He's another dude, tweeter. I mean, Instagram guy. Oh, I'm sorry, I want to be in the league. Man, the league terrible. Oh, I'm sorry, I want to be in the league. He's another guy. I'm just telling you, run your mouth. You run the risk. You run your mouth. You run the risk.
And this is Jim Hicks of the Chop Shop.
Coming to you live Monday night NFL. We're just going to have our Chop Shop gathering on Monday night at 6:30. It's going to be live. We're going to broadcast live. We got the games will be on. We got $5 gourmet hamburgers. We got happy hour all night long, DJ all night long, and commercials only. Jim, what you got?
I mean, and every female who comes through the door before 7 p.m., we got free. Your first drink is on the Chop Shop. We're taking care of your first drink. Listen, blue cup, red cup, stick your pinky finger out. You can do whatever you want to do. Monday night, come join us. It's back on and popping at Phil and Derek's. That's 1701 Webster Street. 1701 Webster, right in the shadows of Midtown Houston. You want to be there.
6:30. Now
we're talking NBA talk. We just joined us on the Chop Shop, man. Thanks so much. And you guys out there, can you take out the time to share today's show right now? Just do it right now. Take real quick. Share the show with your timelines or with your friends. Chris, you can share too right now. How you can share right now? I can share. Let's give a midday share, and as we are your midday sports happy hour. Now we were talking NBA talk a while ago. You may have missed. We gave our thoughts on our most disappointing teams in the East and the Western Conference of the NBA. Now, your most surprising teams in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And who you got, Chris?
Obviously in the West is the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. Without question, the Phoenix Suns, Monty doing his thing, and he's just doing a great job. And I say in the East, I'm going to actually go with Miami Heat. I hate saying that, but I'm going to go with the Heat. I mean, I'm not an Eric Spoelstra fan. I'm not a Pat Riley fan anymore because I think Pat Riley doesn't, he's one of those guys that flexes. Again, LeBron could be over the top. There's no way I'm letting LeBron leave over what happened in Miami and flexing. And then you got a coach that has not done anything since LeBron's left. And he is in the mindset of a Jerry Jones. That's like Garrett, like he's keeping Jason Garrett. That's the same thing Pat Riley's doing, but that's a management issue. They are playing. They got rid of Hassan Whiteside after paying him all that money, and they're at the upper echelon of the East right now, and we'll see if it continues. So Miami for the East and Phoenix for the West.
And so your most surprising team in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, who you rocking with?
My surprise. Let me go in front of Chris, because he got my Phoenix Suns. Because I got on him the other day about talking not including Monty Williams. In his little soliloquy, but Phoenix Suns surprising over there, and in the East, who I like in the East? I like Miami. Miami is surprising. Miami is surprising to me. They surprising me. What you got?
I think I'm gonna go in. I can't dispute either one of those teams. Of course, Phoenix is by far the most surprising team in the Western Conference right now. In the East, although Miami is 6-3, I gotta say, man, Indiana at 6-4 without Oladipo most of the way is really surprising to me. I mean, I must admit it. And then I'm gonna go against the grain and add a second team on the West. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Mavericks. We knew the Dallas Mavericks would be good, but they're not just good. They're fun to watch, and they're playing almost season form right now. Dallas Mavericks is who I'm rocking with. No disrespect to Phoenix, because this 1A and 1B, because both are 6-3 right now. But nobody thought Phoenix would be there. Absolutely true. But this thing that Dallas is doing, Dallas is rocking, and they're kicking butt, taking names. And I think 3 or 4 triple doubles for Doncic after only 9 games into the season. And once again, guys, don't forget tonight, the Rockets at the Pelicans at 7 p.m. And we will be at Phil and Derek. We invite you to come out and join us this evening. We'll be there at 6:30 tonight. 6:30. No dress code. Come as you are after work. Got your uniform on, got your Dickie suits on, whatever. Come on in. Coming from the ship, whatever you're coming from. Just come and join us tonight, and let's make this thing a splash. Think about it. Seahawks at the Niners. Yeah. Also the Rockets at the Pelicans. They will occupy pretty much all of the screens in the lounge side of the Phil and Derek's.
No, I got to tell you, Jimmy, I went to the game in Chicago the other night when they played the Bulls. I don't know if I text y'all. James Harden could have had 70. I'm just telling you right now, he could have had 70 the other night. When they scored like that, Russell, two things. What's that? Russell Westbrook cannot shoot, but we know that. But he's a terrorizer in many ways, slashing to the rim. They got fire and ice. They got a slasher and they got an assassin. When James Harden can make shots like that, it's a wrap.
And of course, speaking of NBA talk, the hot news of this morning is, the New York Knicks. We're talking about disappointing teams, and Chris, you mentioned the Knicks as one of your most disappointing teams at the 1/8 mark of the NBA season. Well, the word is leaked out, and Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, and you guys understand how his plugs is primarily from the front offices. You see, you have certain guys that are keyed into the players. Well, Woj, they just found created a new position of power in the media, and a lot of guys who are in GMs and owners and in the front office, they confide in him. And he's their plug, which supersedes the guy, the old conventional way of going and waiting and catching the guy after the game, or going hanging out, as some media people do before, after the game, or in the hotel lobby. He's up in the penthouse. He's in the suites where he's getting his intel from. So now he's released. Woj of ESPN has released news that's insinuating that Dave Fizdale is definitely going to get the blame and the angle that he's selling to the owner. He meaning Steve Mills is going to sell to the owner about the direction of the team and blaming it on the decision making of Fitz as opposed to the lack of talent on the roster. What you guys think on that? Black on black crime at its finest.
I mean, that's what CEOs, that's what bosses have to do. Bosses have to boss up sometimes. My boss come tell me I got where the problem is, and guess what? Those players. Anytime you get Julius Randle, I know Jimmy loves Julius Randle. When I saw that mixture of guys, they can't win ball games. Me personally, I'm gonna support the New York Knicks as long as they got one player on that team, and that's Damon Dotson. Soon as if Damon get traded, then guess what? I might have to rethink the Knicks, even though I love the front office. I love the guys there. That owner, James Dolan, he's just a black cat. He's Eddie Haskell, Jimmy. I mean, he just don't nobody like him. Don't nobody want to be around him. And he just don't, and people always, they got big money people up there trying to buy their team from him. But guess what? The team, him having that team is that's how he stick his chest out. You know, that's how if you don't have a team, he ain't nothing. Chris, what you got?
Hey, man, all I know is they fired Fizz 4 years, $22 million into his second year. Fire me. Fire me. Oh, my goodness. 4 years, $22 million. 9 games into the season, you get fired. The second year, they'll be $22 million. Come on.
Okay, so guess what? If, I'm going to say this. I don't know Steve Mills, but if you pulling this coup off that you're trying to do, and it comes at the expense, and the result is Mark Jackson getting that job, then that's the only reason that I think in New York that you'll come out good on this.
Jimmy, they just need somebody to win, man. Jimmy, those guys up there, I'm watching them Knicks. They tried, like the other night, that's the worst game they done played all season. Those guys have been competing. I don't know, something happened. I don't know what they got to
beat. Cleveland Cavaliers beat the stuffing out of them.
And they terrible. Cleveland got the assistant coach that Chris called terrible.
Hey, stop it. No, not for the chop shop. Not for the chop shop. Stop that.
I'm sorry. Okay, Gus. Man, I'm sorry. Good.
But check this out. So, Hal, this just gets me. Okay, talking about Steve Mills and the New York Knicks. Do you realize that he got since 2017 when he took over for Phil Jackson? He's 165 and 337.
Jimmy, he was there before before Jackson too.
Before that, I'm saying when he took over.
Yeah, no, but they just moved him over. He was there while Jackson was there too.
No, I'm saying, but he took over Phil's duties when Phil's left as well.
Okay,
he's taking over them duties. Okay. So that means now, none of this blame ain't on his hands.
Of course. He tried. He tried to get KD. He tried to get everybody. It didn't work for him. So guess what? James Dolan, what, you going to fire him? If you fire Steve Mills, guess what? You're going to still have David Fizdale in that same team. But if you fire David Fizdale, guess what? You'll be able to bring in some new blood, because sometimes, look what happened to Monty Williams. That team was abysmal last year. They bring in Monty Williams. These guys want to compete now.
They lost Kristaps Porzingis, man. What team is getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis, man? Come on, man.
He didn't want to be there, dude.
I get it, but I'd rather have a good player than a good coach.
Yeah, but he didn't want to be there. He don't like the organization.
He don't like them brothers.
You can't make them girl. Yeah, you can't know. He went right he feel comfortable as hell. He ain't been playing. What's wrong with him? He hadn't been playing in Dallas the last game or so. Kristaps.
Did you hear what LeBron? Did you hear what my boy Mufasa said about load management? Guess where you put the blame? AAU basketball. That's what he said, Jimmy. He blames load management. LeBron. Mufasa said load management. The problem for load management is these guys have played so many games before they got to the NBA. You can't put tread back on the tires, fellas.
Hey, well, tell me this: if LeBron is the source of that statement, and LeBron back in those days when he came up, there was no restrictions on the amount of games that you could play on a live weekend. There are restrictions now in place. There were more live periods when LeBron was in high school and he played. There were more all-star games that took place. And LeBron James, when he was arising after his sophomore season, he was serving 2 masters. Well, not necessarily. And last summer, he started divvy up on the Nike side because he was a straight Adidas kid all the way through. And think about how many games he played year-round. So if that's the case, then pay attention. So
Jimmy, the games are only limited on the live weekends. It's not limited on that's what I'm saying. But they can play as many games they want on the non-live weekend. But
even nowadays, the sneaker teams still don't play as many events that they played in the past. I'm talking about during the non-live periods. They don't play as many, at least the ones in Texas, collectively, they don't. Back in the days, Chris, even when you coached the T-Mac All-Stars, those sneaker teams would play in a Gasso in the fall, in the spring. They would play in Brian Jolovet's event in the spring. They don't play. They selectively pick and choose which events. They don't play every weekend. They don't play every other weekend. And so for people to be, I understand there may be a different ball game. You're talking about the sub high school teams. It may be a different ball game then. I don't know. I haven't charted them because they start playing in January in middle school. They start playing in hell. In some middle schools, don't even stop. They're playing during the regular seasons of the middle school teams, some summer teams. So that could be, if that's the angle for which he's directing it at such a young age, they are playing way more at the high level, with the stakes are supposed to be, or made to believe that the stakes are higher at those 6th grade levels, 7th grade level, 8th grade level, as opposed to back in the days you played with hopes of going to AAU nationals, and that would be your pot at the end of the rainbow.
But you know, his shot was at the guys across the hall. You know, we can talk about going to the moon or flying a rocket ship or anything. Chris Walker gonna find a way to bring up LeBron James. I mean, wasn't nobody even talking about no damn LeBron
I was talking about the load management. Only reason why I brought it up was to talk about load management, and he said it.
Earl Watson talked about it. You didn't say
that. But who is Earl Watson? Who is Earl Watson?
See, that's what I'm talking about, man.
I'm just saying,
dude. You can talk about, dude. We can be talking about the space shuttle. LeBron ain't been on the space shuttle. He's not an astronaut.
Bro.
And you gonna figure out a way to put him in one of them astronaut uniforms. Come on, Chris.
They showed something. I saw a post the other day about John Stockton, and it was only a couple of years that John Stockton didn't play 82 games. John Stockton, every time he could play, he played.
And ain't dunked on nobody.
So the question is, what's going on there? Well, why? It's not about him dunking on people. It's still wear and tear on his body. He's playing all 82 minutes, and then at the end of that deal, they had a nice run where they were playing against the Bulls in the championships, and they were always right there, and he was playing in the playoffs. So the question is, when we talk about this load management thing, they're not talking about load management taking money out of their contracts. They're making more money, and they want to play less, Hatter. The guys back in the day played less, right? Played more and made less money. So think about what's going on.
Yeah, because there was less games on TV, Chris Walker. That's why they made less.
I agree with you, but playing a game is playing a game. It is not about television. Playing is playing, and not playing is not playing.
And of course, 2 other comments of Anthony Davis. He's kind of aggravated his shoulder in yesterday's loss to Toronto Raptors. And he, after the game, he commented and was quoted as saying that, you know, no load management for him. He's like, he's playing right through. He's going to play right through his shoulder injury, at least for the time being. And so those are statements that people are making with their actions. Michael Jordan over in Charlotte made a comment also over the weekend saying that you get paid to play 82 games over in this. And so what do you guys think about my MJ and his?
I completely agree. Hatter, you get played the games, not just the games on TV. If you're injured, there's a difference between pain and injury. Remember we said that, Hatter, when we was kids. There was a difference between pain and injury. If you're injured, you can't play. But when you're a baller, you play with pain. So, and I'm going to tell you something. That movement, they're actually, like guys like Kawhi, they got to be careful. And those staffs, because now you're giving those guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe, because Kobe would never. What would Kobe say about load management? He would say the same thing. So you got to be careful how these guys are going to get looked at based on that.
But careful of what? You got to be careful of what?
Careful of coming out looking like you guys are takers. Like, again, you're saying, well, he sat out a Clippers game at home. They get to see him play more. That's not the point. There's a Clipper fan that may only come to that one game.
Hey, man.
That may not get to see him play.
That's why you at your own risk. Go read the back of that ticket. You at your own risk when you a fan. Fan is the root word for fanatic. So you're in your own, at your own risk. Anytime you go into, look on the back of your ticket, they can't determine it. The outcome of the game. Don't get mad at them. If the refs get messed up, don't. So if you want to be a fan and buy that ticket, guess what? How you can if you're a fan, if you're mad, guess what? Just don't go.
If the best player that y'all say to ever play says, listen, man, you get paid to play 82 games. That's what you get paid to do. Michael Jordan
said a lot of stuff that I don't agree with.
But Michael Jordan played 82 games, though. The best ever did it. He never sat out.
Okay.
And so, of course, as we get ready to land this thing, I want to share with you guys some news that happened over the weekend unfortunate news. But guess what? If you're a Prairie View A&M alum, then guess what? It's good news for you guys because you are now removed from the record books as being the recipient of the largest defeat ever, the largest margin of defeat ever in a men's basketball NCAA Division I basketball game. And that now goes at the hands of Mississippi Valley. Boy, I know how to wish it was Alabama A&M so he can get, for reasons of that he can keep to himself. But Mississippi Valley lost, guys, to Utah 143-49. And that is the largest scoring margin ever and for a Division I, between two Division I basketball teams. And 143-49. So I reached out. That's Lindsey Hunter is the head coach at Mississippi Valley. And who would ever thought that a former NBA star would be able to lead a group of guys and understand this is Utah. This is Utah. Utah is not.
Is that Larry Krystkowiak?
Krystkowiak, yeah, that's Larry Krystkowiak. And listen, they're not as good as they used to be. It's a little bit down year for them.
Yeah, they're not a top 20.
A little bit down year. It's a little bit of down for them. They lost a lot of talent. You know what? They beat the brakes off them dudes.
You know what I'm thinking about, Jim? When y'all look at these margin of victory, I remember early in the season, Maryland beat Howard by 1,000, right? About 70-something, right? But Maryland turned around yesterday and get beat back like the same way from Ohio State. And guess why they saying Ohio State put that thing on them? Because they saying Maryland is the one snitched on the boy, on Chase Young.
That's my homeboy, man. That head coach, my homeboy. Calm down. That's my boy.
But somebody in his camp, whoever, they said Maryland, the one snitched on him. That somebody that told it to the NCAA about Chase getting that money from the. So that's why they whooped the brakes off him. Your boy got his head whooped.
But you got to realize the kid went to DeMatha High School, right there in Maryland. And Mike Lochley basically was the guy that says, "I'm sewing up Maryland. I'm sewing up Maryland," and they spurned him to go to Ohio State. So obviously they knew everything was going on. That's why I'm telling you, or had it the way you said it, as somebody very close to James Wiseman and Penny knew what was going on, and they're the ones running their mouth, just like the same thing with Maryland.
Chris Walker, that is nothing profound you just said. It's evident they had to go.
I get you. I understand that, but what I'm telling you is somebody in that camp, you're talking about Maryland making a parallel, somebody probably got back to Ohio State. It could be rumor or whatever, that's how they found out. Because Maryland was recruiting them, they would have known. They would have known. I'm telling you, they would have known.
The incident wasn't supposed to happen until you went to the Rose Bowl.
Like I said, they would have known.
Okay. All right, Mr.
And so, of course, that shout out. Hey,
what about tonight, Jimmy? What we got tonight, Jimmy? What we doing tonight?
Guys, make sure tonight 6:30 we're gonna be at Phil and Derek's for happy hour. And understand something, we hadn't been to Phil and Derek's in a year and a half for Monday Night Football, and it's going down. It's the perfect game to be there.
Yeah.
Seattle at Frisco. Richard Sherman gets to face his old team. You think he's not fired up about this?
That's right.
Understand, this thing is going down tonight.
Hey, Chris. Chris, we're going to go live right before the show. We're hoping you're available at that time. We're going to go live right before the show. But we're going to do like Randy Moss them. We're going to go live right before the game come on, Chris. So be available tonight.
Yeah, and we got drink specials all night, ladies.
Yes.
Your first drink is on the Chop Shop if you get there before 7 p.m.
Yeah.
If you place your order before 7 p.m. So don't get mad at me now.
Don't get in there and get the run in your mouth and forget to order your drink.
Yeah, so you place your order, your first drink is on the Chop Shop. I know some of y'all out there, y'all some guzzlers. So, and also what we're going to have tonight, each quarter, we're going to have some free tickets to the season opener.
That's right.
I got these tickets, and I'm going to be giving them all away tonight. You guys come on out there, save yourself some money, get these free tickets, ladies, free drinks. It's Phil and Derek's at 1701 Webster Street. Let's make it pop.
We ain't seen some of them, Jimmy. We ain't seen some of the Boom Boom Room in a long time. We got some new people on the Boom Boom Room we never seen them met. So hey, let's come out and mess with you. You're going to see everybody but Chris Walker, but we'll have him on the screen tonight. But Jimmy, know what's happening this weekend.
And of course, this weekend, the season opener. I can't hardly wait. The season opener basketball showcase is going to be Saturday at the Campbell Center. Guys, understand something. This morning on rcssports.com, I published the top 40 high school rankings. We gave you a sneak peek a week ago and gave you the top 10. Well, I gave you all 40 this morning. It's in the VIP news. And if you hadn't been in the VIP news, make sure I'm telling you, especially in basketball season, you're missing out. In the VIP on rcssports.com, we got the top 40 teams. So this is what happens. In the season opener, there are 16 teams, 8 games. 12 of the 16 teams is ranked in the state by TABC. 12 of the 16 is ranked in the state of Texas.
Jim.
Not to mention, we got number 4 playing number 1, number 2 playing number 3, number 6 playing number 9. Those are just 3 of the games. This may be, I'm talking about as far as the complete day of basketball on Saturday. You get your ticket. Yes, you will be able to come. If you want to go home, come back, you can do it. We're not enforcing the no reentry rule. I don't give a doggone. If you want to go out there and take your armband off and slip it on somebody else's arm, then guess what? Remember, all decisions have consequences. Because my people, I'm telling you, I got some crime dogs that's working. They're working to do it. I'm telling you that.
So, you know what? I went to some scrimmages yesterday. Sunday.
Who you saw?
Hey, few of those guys you talking about will be. Hey man, they were in. Dude, I saw 2 scrimmages that looked like playoff games. Jimmy, I saw LJ Cryer versus Bryce Griggs. I saw Bryce Griggs versus Tremont Marks. Dude, those games look like playoff games. Those guys, let me tell y'all something. Y'all in for a treat. Y'all, I can't wait to come to the and then I saw finally saw Fob's team play. And shout out to Anthony Fobb, because Amity Creek hosted this the scrimmage, Jimmy. And it was ran. It was a great day. So shout out to Fobb. But let me tell you something. That Tremont Marks, that LJ Cryer, and hey y'all, and that Bryce Griggs, y'all, those 3 guys and Eddie Lampkin are worth the price of admission. I'm telling you.
And of course, Walter Yates is on the feed and saying, how you rank Westbury Christian ahead of us? I say, Walter Yates, you must don't think Javier Francis is good at all. He hadn't played since Rock on Wood. Yeah. That's the Westbury. Understand? Westbury Christian is they won't be a top. We don't expect them to be a top caliber team with Tyler Smith transferring away, but they're going to be okay for taps when Javier Francis comes back.
When is he coming back? When?
I don't know. We'll have to check.
Okay.
I'll have to check. He may be cleared for this weekend.
Yeah, I heard it might be able to. Yeah.
Maybe cleared this weekend. And so we're playing in the season open. So that means some people, now of course Marcus Sloan say he ain't coming if your sister don't bring that baked chicken in the hospitality room. Guess what?
Well, don't come then. He makes me sick anyway. That's all he's thinking about, eating something.
No, I mean, but you know what? Sister gonna get that chicken. We know my sister, she gonna get the chicken on Wednesday because Wednesday when the sale paper come out. So she gonna go and get them chickens and put it in.
Get some white meat, Jimmy. I get tired of that black meat.
White meat costs too much.
Huh?
It costs too much. Chris can tell you. Chris know where the white meat on sale at, don't you, Chris?
Y'all crazy, man. I gotta go, man. Chop.
Oh, no, don't do my boy like that.
Well, y'all stupid, man. I'm out, man. I'll hit y'all later tonight.
Y'all do this thing, baby, and slide down Dino's back. Thanks so much for tuning to the Chop Shop. Make sure you share the show with your families and friends on behalf of the Hater, Hatter, and of course the Hat. Go Niners, baby.
See y'all tonight. Go Seattle.
Stealing Derricks, baby, 6:30. Y'all come on over here and fellowship with us tonight. Let's make this thing pop and show us how we do it on the Chop Shop. Let's rock, guys. Spread the word. Stealing Derricks, 6:30 this evening. Come on over there and rock with us. See you guys in 22 hours.
Chop Shop. Let me get us out of here, Jim.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do it first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Claude Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the